Hello everybody. This is a somewhat more advanced acoustic guitar lesson. We're going to focus on dancing in the dark and we're going to try and take your playing to the next level using that song. Now I am going to assume that you already know the chords and a basic strumming pattern for dancing in the dark, but if you don't, then have a look at my easy dancing in the dark guitar lesson and I'll put a link to it in a comment that I'll pin to the top of the comment section, so follow that link to learn the chords and a basic strumming pattern. We're going to dive in just a moment by looking at how we can develop the strumming. Now let's make our strumming pattern more interesting, and we're going to do that by mimicking a drum kit. Now a drum kit has got a kick drum, a bass drum in other words, which is very deep, it's got a very low sound, and it's got a snare drum which has got a very high sound. So typically in any kind of pop, rock music, country, blues, etc., you'll find that the kick drum, the bass drum, will play on the first beat and the third beat of the bar, and that high snare, or sometimes it will be a cymbal, will play on the second and the fourth beat of the bar. And we can mimic that on our guitars, because on our guitars we've got bass strings and we've got treble strings, like the kick drum and the snare drum. So, in our strumming pattern, on that first downstroke, aim for, let's use the G chord as an example, aim for the sixth string, the bass string. Probably just hitting just that one string. If you catch one or two of the other bass strings, no worries, doesn't matter, but aim for that sixth string. On the second beat, the second downstroke, aim for the treble strings. Aim for the top three strings. So, first beat, second beat, bass, treble. Third beat, back to the bass, that's your third downstroke. And then you've got an up down, and you're going to aim for the treble strings on the up down. So we have, now we're still going down, 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 up, down, but it's now much more interesting musically. So bass, treble, treble. It's like that. Let's try that together. I'll count you in and we'll try alternating between the G major and the E minor using that slightly more subtle pattern now, and I'll try and sing for you as well so you get some context. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wake up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. Come home in the morning, I go to bed feeling the same way. That's where we change to our C. When we get to that C chord, we can do much the same as with the G, except that we're going to aim to play the bass on the fifth string, because that is the note of C at the third fret there. So very similar. And when we go to the A minor again, we're aiming for the fifth string, because that is the open string, there is the A. Do hit the sixth string or the fourth string, no worries, it'll still work, but aim for the fifth string. When you get up to the D, well, the fourth string open is a D, so aim for that one. Now what you can do, if you want to take it even one step further, you can alternate your bass notes. So for example on the D, I can alternate between a D in the bass, that's the fourth string, and the A in the bass, which is the fifth string. So I end up with this effect. So you can alternate bass notes. On the G and the E minor, you can alternate between the sixth and the fifth strings if you want to. C and the A minor, you can alternate between either the fifth and the sixth string or the fifth and the fourth string. So that's going to make your strumming pattern much more subtle. Now that is a little bit advanced, so don't worry if you find it a bit difficult at first. Do rewind this section of the video and listen again and play along again. But it will make your playing better, so it's worth persevering with that technique. Okay, I want to show you 3 little tricks now, which can just help to make dancing in the dark a little bit more interesting to play and for your listeners to listen to. So the first trick is, at the end of the bridge, you can put in a stop on the C chord and the D chord, the last C and the last D chord of that bridge. So I'll show you how that works. So here's the whole bridge. You sit around getting older, there's a joke somewhere, it's on me. Shake this world off my shoulders. Come on, baby, this life's on me. On the streets of this town. The second subtlety is to throw in an extra chord on the refrain. So on the refrain, Bruce Springsteen sticks on a D. Can't start a fire, sticks on that one. Can't start a fire without a, and on the word spark he goes to a C. Now, what I do, and this is not something that's in the Bruce Springsteen record at all, but what I do personally, and I like this, is between that D and the C, I put in an A minor 7th, this chord. And I do it on the word fire. So I'll play it to you. So here we go. Can't start a fire. Can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. So, try that. Try throwing in an extra A minor 7 on the word fire, and it just adds a little bit of subtlety and complexity and brings out some of that poignancy that's in the lyric, I think. Okay, I'll show you the third little trick in a moment, but before I do that, let me mention that I've recorded a cover of Dancing in the Dark. I'll pin a link to it in the comments below. It will be the first pinned comment that you see, and you can follow that link and listen to the cover. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, but also you can play along with it. And in that cover you'll get that extra A minor 7th chord that I've mentioned, and you'll also hear the stop in the bridge as well. So do use that cover version as a practice resource. The third little trick concerns the introduction. Now, the introduction on the record, remember, is played on a synthesizer. You've got this line that goes. Now, it's difficult to play that exactly while you're trying to strum at the same time, but you can sort of suggest it. And I do that like this. Now what I'm doing there is I'm basically playing over a standard G chord, but I'm moving my middle finger to the 3rd string 2nd fret, and I'm putting my index finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and taking them off again. Go with the strumming, it sounds like this. So you might want to try and work on something similar at the beginning of the song, and of course it comes in after the verses as well. Before we finish, I just wanted to show you something, partially because I'd like your opinion about it. You might have come across slapping technique, which is when you do this kind of thing on guitar. Okay, so you get very percussive. Now, I just wonder what you think about that in terms of, does that work with Dancing in the Dark? I'll play a bit for you and let me know what you think in the comments. So here we go. I wake up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. Come home in the morning, I go to bed feeling the same way. I ain't nothing but tired. Man, I'm tired and bored with myself. Come on, baby, I could use just a little help. You can't start a fire, can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark. So let me know what you think. Does that work? Okay, thanks so much for learning Dancing in the Dark with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please do subscribe to the channel. It helps me to grow the channel, but also means that you'll get notifications when new videos come out, be they covers or guitar lessons like this one. So please do subscribe.